morning, guys. It is 5:50 in the morning. I'm about to head all the way up to Irvine to get a training session in with the guys. But I thought while I'm doing this vlog, you know, the day in the life type vlog, that I would also give like 5 things that I've learned while playing professional soccer for 5 years. Because actually this week, around like December, mid-December, is when I actually dropped out of college 5 years ago to go play professional soccer. So I've learned a ton over the last 5 years, and I thought I'd kind of sum it up in one video to give you all my experience and stuff that I've learned. So here we go. So I just got into Great Park up in Irvine. It is 6:58, so it took almost exactly an hour to get up here, which isn't bad. Sun's just rising up, so it's really cool. But to go on this, like the 5 things I've learned, the very first thing I've learned is just how competitive it is in this game. And I mean, that's obvious. Like, everyone's like, oh yeah, of course it's gonna be hard to be a pro. Of course everybody wants to be a professional soccer player, but you don't realize just how many amazing soccer players are out there, even at the semi-pro level, at the high amateur level, even at the lower divisions in the pro leagues. How many good soccer players there are out there in the world until you really dive headfirst into this game and into becoming a pro. I mean, I've been over the 2nd division of Iceland, and I've met players that I'm like, he's a sick player. This guy's great. Like, he has a ton of potential to keep on going up. And you're in the 2nd division of Iceland. I was over in the Winter League of New Zealand, and there's amazing players over there. I've been into, obviously, the 2nd division of the USL and trained with MLS guys, and there's just high quality players everywhere that you go, and every one of these players has the same goal of playing at the highest level possible. It's just so incredibly competitive that you just need to work harder. You need to be able to do more. You need to have more if you really want to make it in this game. You need to have the better connections. You need to cold call more coaches. You need to send out more emails. You need to be fitter than everybody else. You really need to work harder in improving your weakness. You need to be a better dribbler. You need to study the game better. You need to do so much extra stuff just to even make it to the pro level. And then if you want to succeed at the pro level and be a starter, then push up to a higher league, you even have to do more and be even more special than that. It's incredibly competitive, and I'm not saying that as a discouraging thing. I'm saying that almost as more of just a motivating thing, that if you really want to make it in this game and have a career out of this sport, you really need to bust your ass. That's the very first thing I've learned. Okay, so just going to start off. Baldy again from BP6 Elite is going to take us through some passing drills. They're going to be similar.
Right. Yeah, something similar to last time. So a lot of off the ball movement, then trying to just shift your body and making sure you're hitting the right angles on the first touch.
Awesome. Okay, let's get into it.
We all have our reasons why we are on this track. Oh, we all have our burdens, yeah, but we just keep on fighting and we never look back. Here we go, 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 let us heal and grow. You won't be alone, we're unstoppable.
All right, we're here with Matt Sheldon. We have a special anniversary to celebrate. It is the 5-year anniversary of you dropping out of college.
Yeah, woo!
Yeah, it's pretty big day, right?
Actually, I talked about that. This is what the video's about. That's
Really?
why,
No way.
Well, it's about like well, it was me because I've been playing pro for like 5 years.
Okay.
So the video's not like 5 years of me celebrating dropping out. It's to celebrate me playing pro for 5 years.
Ah, I see what's going on.
Alright, so I just finished up lunch.
Yes.
Mondo, what's one thing now, you've been playing for almost 3 years.
Right.
You've been playing pro. What's one thing that you've learned now after all this?
I would say it's not like one specific thing, but the thing that caught me the most off guard was coming out of college. I thought that, I mean, everybody thinks they're good and they think they can make it pro. I just thought that I was gonna get recruited by teams. I thought I would get calls. I thought teams would be all over me because I was good. But at the end of the day, here in the US, it's not just about being good. It's about really promoting yourself, getting yourself out there, getting yourself noticed by teams. Unless you're a top prospect and you go to the MLS Combine where there's only 60 of these players that do this every year, you pretty much have to sell yourself to teams. And that's kind of a harsh reality of kind of, if I don't do anything, if I don't pick up my phone, like I'm not playing soccer next year. That's the biggest thing, kind of being on top.
Being proactive.
Being proactive about things, because a lot of people don't, or make the excuses that, oh, you know, whatever, I can't do this, or I have the money to do that. You know, you gotta find a way.
A lot of you, like, if they'll have that one season where someone actively recruits them and they get the contract, they think that's gonna happen again the next year, and then it doesn't.
Not here in the US, it's tough, especially in the USL, like at the lower levels, you're only as good as your last contract, your last game. If you're not useful to a team beyond your contract year, like, they're not going to be begging you to come back, you know, unless you're a top goal scorer or something like that. It happens for sure, but the majority of players, the biggest thing is you got to be proactive.
All right, sweet. So you're gonna go train again now, huh?
Yes, I got to go to Bonita Park.
All right, sick, bro. I'll see you later. See you, Mondo. So just back home right now. I finally got back. It is like 11:30 right now. I really don't know what the plan for the rest of the day is. And I know Mimi actually has off from school today, so we might film a podcast, maybe even film another video out at the field or something. But we'll see. But anyway, it's kind of funny too, listening to Armando, what his number one thing that he's learned after playing pro for these last 3 years is very similar to my thing. You know, it's competitive. You have to be very proactive with your career. It's just cool. And I didn't even tell him what my number one tip was, or the number one thing I learned. So very funny that we both kind of realized the same exact thing. Anyway, the number two biggest thing that I've really learned from being in this game, being in this career for the last 5 years, is how much of a roller coaster it is. If you've been following me, you've been following my content for a while, I talk a lot about how this game is such a crazy roller coaster of emotions. I mean, you can go from the highest of highs, score the game-winning goal in the final game, to the lowest of lows, and the next day when you go out and you break an ankle, you tear an ACL, and it's true. That's how fast things can switch. And having said that, having go from high to low, just as easily things can go from low to high. You can be a free agent with no connections, just waiting it out, being proactive, sending out the emails, calling your agent, sending out the text messages to people, going to combines or going to tryouts, and then just like that, in 1 week, you can have 3 trial opportunities pop up, and you can go from the lowest of lows to the highest of highs, and then sign a contract or do something. Things can switch so fast, and I think that was something that I really didn't expect with this pro lifestyle, this pro game, is how much of a roller coaster it is, how fast things can go, and honestly how high and how amazing you can feel at times, and also how low you can feel. And so my advice to dealing with that kind of sounds funny, but it's kind of to be numb. You know, when you're going through highs, do the highest of highs, signing contracts, things are going great. Don't completely just get so high-headed and full-headed and everything, thinking that it is going to be like that forever. Be numb to it. Realize that things can change very quickly. Enjoy those times, savor those times, but just understand that, you know, this is very fragile. And the same exact thing when you're in those low periods, be numb to those low periods. If you're going through an injury, going through a setback, be numb, because just as the same thing, you can be a free agent, you can be injured, and then all of a sudden things can change very quickly and new opportunities come up, or new contracts come up, or maybe you all of a sudden, you know, that injury wasn't as bad as you thought it was. So this game is a roller coaster. Try to stay numb, enjoy the highs, don't get too low on the lows, and just ride it out. So Mimi and I are headed to Target to get some like last minute things before we head off to Europe, which we leave for in what, 3-4 days? 3 days? Friday, Saturday, Sunday? 3 days. Wow, that was sooner than I expected. But I just need to get like an eye mask so I can sleep on the plane, a little neck pillow.
No, it's because you're jealous that I have one, you want Matt.
Yeah, that's it too. And then I just need a like hair gel. Is there anything you need from Target?
Lots of things.
Lots of things.
Really Gucci things.
Oh yeah, we need to get stuff for Gucci, like a pooper scooper. So it is like 2:30 in the afternoon. I really haven't had that much to eat today. I just had the 2 bananas before training, and then I had that little wrap when I went out with the guys at Corner Bakery and Spectrum. So I'm gonna have like a kind of like a late lunch and kind of like my third meal of the day, and then I'll have a big dinner at the very end of the day. But to go on this 5 things that I've learned, number 3 is that I didn't really realize how much this game was built around connections. And you've seen what Armando said as well when I asked him. But unless you're one of the top guys in Europe or when you're the top guys in the MLS, you really aren't being actively recruited unless you are coming off a great season in the league. But it's just not as much of scouting and recruiting, especially in America, as you'd think there'd be. So I think understanding that this game is really built on connections, and understanding that the more people you meet, the more players that you train with, the more coaches you play for, the more agents that you talk to, the more emails that you send, the more text messages that you send out, that's what's really going to help build up that relationships with people, and that's what's really going to help progress your career. And now there's a big difference. I always say there's a big difference between doing the LinkedIn connections, where it's just kind of like, oh yeah, send somebody a message, and you really aren't respected as a player. Then there's a difference of like me and Armando. I would have Armando's back, and I do have Armando's back because I really trust him as a player and I trust him as a person. So I'm willing to give Armando's number and Armando's name and put my name on the line to say, yeah, Armando's a great player, to push Armando to my agent, to wherever team I go, to be like, hey, if you need an extra goalie, I really respect Armando. I really think he's a good player. Here's his strengths and weaknesses. Here's his highlight tape. I'm willing to put my name on the line to push Armando. And so those are the connections you're trying to build. That's what you really want. You really want to have as many people out there in the world willing to vouch for you as a player and as a person. Okay, it is like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm finally all showered, all clean now. Got a little cup of coffee so I can sit down and work. Mimi's getting her hair cut, I think, or styled. She's getting her hair colored. One of the 3. She's doing one of the 3 right now. And so I have like 2 hours to work, edit up some videos to try to get some videos ready so I can post when I'm over in Europe. So I just don't have to work all day long over in Europe. Before I work, I want to go over number 4, the 4th thing that I've learned from playing professional soccer over the last 5 years. Your career is long, and it's definitely longer than you think. And I say that, I don't want to say that and have people take it the wrong way and be like, oh, I got all the time in the world to train, I got all the time in the world, you know, to really take my professional career seriously. I'm not saying it that way, but I'm saying it as the setback view. So if you get a setback, you get a
bad injury, you're a free agent and you can't find a team for a year, or you feel like you're just being stagnant for a year or two, it's fine. You guys are young. A lot of you guys who are watching this video are under the age of 25. And if you're under the age of 25, you still have so many more years left of playing. So one bad season, one bad injury, anything, it's not the end of the world. Obviously, you want to work as hard as you can to get out of free agency and find a team, or to rehab your injury and get healthy. But don't panic thinking that just because you're missing 9 months or you can't find a team for 3 or 4 months, that means that you're never going to be able to play professional soccer. It just means that you're just in a low period right now. And every single professional athlete, even at the highest tippy top of Europe down to the lowest leagues that are still paying people, every single one of those athletes has faced a setback or will face a setback in their career. So don't worry, just ride it out, and it will make those high times where you sign a contract or you get a good part of your career and everything's flowing and you're playing great, it's going to make those things so much better. Because I can't even tell you how great it felt to be on the field when I was in Tulsa playing every single game after my 3rd surgery. It was the best spell of my life. I was so incredibly happy to be playing well, to not be feeling any pain. It was unbelievable. So don't worry. Don't freak out that things aren't going as fast or as great as you want them to. Your career is very long, so ride out the setbacks and eventually things will get better.
Just picked up Chipotle. I honestly, one of my biggest goals with being a social media influencer is to one day...
Why did you just do the quotes around social?
Okay, social media influencer.
You're like a social media influencer.
A social media influencer.
It's influencer is the one you do that on.
A social media influencer.
Yeah, there you go.
My biggest goal is to one day get the Chipotle, was it the Chipotle Black Card?
Yeah, it's unlimited Chipotle.
Unlimited swipes from Chipotle. Even if I could just get like 3 burritos a week from Chipotle to be sponsored, I would. That'd be the one time.
We maybe be able to actually afford a house then.
Because I spent all my money here.
All the money on Chipotle.
You say our money?
Yeah.
Because we're fiancés now. Yeah. So that's my biggest goal. But
It's my money you're spending on that thing.
I just got a burrito bowl, chips, lemon, and a tortilla on the side. That's the only way to do it.
What'd you get for Gucci?
I didn't get anything for her.
Come on.
But I'm gonna eat this. We're gonna film a podcast, and then I'm gonna wrap up for the day. So let's do it. Okay, it is 8:45 at night, which means I'm about to go to bed because I have to wake up really early again tomorrow, like at 5:15 to drive up to Irvine. But tomorrow will be the last session up in Irvine before I head over to Europe with Mimi and her family, which I'm so excited about. But anyway, I want to finish off this vlog with the last thing that I've really learned over the last 5 years of playing professional soccer. And that last thing is to never let anybody put any sort of limitation on your career as a soccer player. I mean, at every stage that I've played at, the youth level, the club soccer level, the high school level, the collegiate level, the semi-pro level, every single time I've done that, there's always been one person or multiple people, whether that's teammates or other parents or coaches or whoever, that has told me that I'm not good enough or I will never make it to that next level. And I've always, at first, it hit me pretty hard whenever a coach would tell me that. Like, for example, my high school and my club coach both told me that I wasn't good enough to play Division I college soccer. And that, like, at the time really, really kind of hit me hard. And when I was in college, you know, there was teammates that were saying that I wasn't going to be good enough to play for the San Jose Earthquakes U23 team. And when I was playing at the semi-pro level, there were parents of other players or parents of friends that told me that it was ridiculous for me to go over to Germany or to drop out of school to play pro because it wasn't a realistic thing for me. And so no matter where, you know, no matter what level, there was always somebody who's trying to put a limitation on my career. And I think that's the thing that I've learned, is that nobody can predict the future. Nobody really knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows how hard you work. Nobody really can understand what's going to happen with your career. So if anybody says that you can do something or that you can't do something, they're just throwing out their best guess.
and you can smile and you thank them for it, whether it's a positive thing or a negative thing. But the only thing that matters, really, truly, the only thing that matters is if you actually are working towards your goal. And if you are, then great. And I've always gone with that approach. If someone was like, oh, you'll never be a pro, I go, okay, yeah, probably not. And then I go and I work as hard as I can to accomplish it. I'm going to finish the vlog there. So if you guys liked the video, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, guys, peace.